People who underestimated you begin to feel uncomfortable, not because you attacked them, but because your peace exposes their chaos. They expected frustration, but found patience. They expected emotional reactions, but found calmness. They expected desperation, but found confidence. Suddenly, their old strategies stop working. They realize they are speaking to someone who has learned the language of self-control. That language cannot be manipulated because it does not depend on other people's opinions. It depends on inner conviction. When someone finally learns that language, the entire game changes. Most people think the code is about making more money, gaining more influence, or collecting more recognition. Those things are only side effects. The real code is understanding that your greatest battle has never been against other people. It has always been against your own fear, your own excuses, your own impatience, and your own doubts. Every day you choose discipline over comfort, you unlock another part of the code. Every time you remain silent instead of reacting emotionally, another piece becomes clear. Every time you forgive without becoming weak, another layer reveals itself. The code was never hidden inside complicated formulas. It was hidden inside ordinary choices repeated consistently over time. Eventually, they notice something they cannot explain. You no longer chase people who walk away. You no longer beg for opportunities that refuse to open. You no longer compete with people running races that do not matter. Instead, you become focused on becoming better than yesterday. That kind of focus makes people nervous because it cannot be distracted. It cannot be bribed by comfort. It cannot be intimidated by criticism. They realize the version of you they once knew no longer exists. The old operating system has been replaced. There is something powerful about understanding delayed gratification. Most people quit because they expect immediate rewards. They plant seeds today and become frustrated tomorrow because nothing has appeared above the ground. But the person who has cracked the code understands something different. Roots grow before fruit appears. Foundations come before buildings. Preparation comes before promotion. You stop asking why success is taking so long because you realize your character is being built stronger than your circumstances. Once your character becomes stronger than your obstacles, your future changes automatically. People often mistake confidence for arrogance because they have never experienced genuine inner security. Real confidence is peaceful. It does not need to interrupt conversations. It does not need to prove intelligence. It does not need constant applause. It simply keeps showing up, keeps learning, keeps improving, and keeps moving forward. That quiet consistency becomes intimidating because it survives every storm. Eventually, they begin asking themselves the question they never thought they would ask. What happened to you? How did you become so difficult to discourage? The answer is simple. You stopped depending on motivation and started depending on discipline. Every setback that once looked like punishment now becomes preparation. Every betrayal becomes education. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every delay becomes development. Suddenly nothing feels wasted anymore because every painful experience carried a lesson that made you stronger. The people who tried to slow you down accidentally trained your endurance. The people who doubted you accidentally strengthened your belief. The people who ignored your value accidentally pushed you toward discovering it yourself. Without realizing it, they became unwilling contributors to your transformation. One of the greatest discoveries you make after cracking the code is that silence has incredible power. Not every accusation deserves an answer. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Sometimes the strongest statement you can make is continuing to build while everyone else continues talking. Results eventually become louder than explanations. Success eventually becomes stronger than rumors. Character eventually outlives criticism. While others waste years defending themselves, you spend those years developing yourself. That difference creates an entirely different future. People begin watching you differently because they cannot predict your next move anymore. They used to understand your emotional triggers. They knew exactly how to upset you, distract you, or pull you into unnecessary battles. But now those buttons no longer work. You rewired your thinking. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond intentionally. Instead of focusing on problems, you search for principles. Instead of fearing change, you prepare for it. They finally realize they cannot control someone who has learned to control themselves. There comes a moment when even your enemies unintentionally respect your consistency. They may never admit it publicly, but deep inside they recognize something undeniable. You did not become stronger because life became easier. You became stronger because you stopped negotiating with your potential. You made peace with hard work. You accepted that greatness costs something. While others searched for excuses, you searched for solutions. While others waited for perfect conditions, you created progress with imperfect circumstances. That mindset separates extraordinary people from ordinary ones. The code was never about becoming better than everyone else. It was about becoming impossible for your old habits to recognize. It was about becoming so disciplined that yesterday's version of you feels like a stranger. It was about reaching a place where your peace cannot be purchased, your purpose cannot be distracted, your confidence cannot be stolen, and your future cannot be controlled by people who refuse to believe in you. And that is when everything becomes crystal clear. They finally realize you cracked the code because they can no longer find the person they once underestimated. In your place stands someone who understands that true power begins in the mind, grows through discipline, matures in silence, and reveals itself through consistent action. While they were trying to figure out how you changed, you were already living by principles they never took seriously. That is why your progress no longer surprises you. It only surprises those who thought you would never discover what was inside you all along. Most people spend their entire lives looking for a secret that does not exist. They believe there must be a hidden shortcut that successful people discovered before everyone else. They imagine there is a perfect opportunity, a magical strategy, or a lucky break waiting somewhere beyond the horizon. They spend years chasing trends, copying other people's lives, and searching for answers everywhere except the one place that matters most, their own character. They move from one idea to another, hoping the next thing will finally change everything, but the truth remains the same. Success has never belonged to the person who finds the quickest path. It belongs to the person who understands the principles that never change. The real code was never a shortcut. It was always discipline, emotional control, consistency, and purpose working together day after day. Think about how nature works. A giant tree does not appear overnight. Before anyone admires its height, its roots have already spent years growing where nobody could see them. The strongest buildings are not the ones built the fastest. They are the ones with the deepest foundations. The world celebrates the visible results, but it often ignores the invisible preparation. That is exactly how life works. People notice success only after it becomes obvious, but they rarely notice the countless mornings you chose discipline over comfort, the evenings you kept learning while everyone else was distracted, or the moments you stayed committed when quitting seemed easier. The code is hidden inside those ordinary decisions. Many people confuse excitement with progress. They feel motivated for a few days, start a new habit, make ambitious plans, and imagine they are already becoming successful. But motivation is an emotion, and emotions come and go. Discipline is different. Discipline keeps moving when feelings disappear. It continues when applause is absent. It survives when results are delayed. That is why discipline is one of the greatest parts of the code. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Very few people continue when the excitement fades and the work becomes repetitive. Those who continue are the ones who eventually separate themselves from the crowd. Another part of the code is emotional control. Every person faces criticism. Every person experiences rejection. Every person encounters disappointment. The difference is not what happens to you, but how you respond. Some people allow one negative comment to destroy an entire week. Others let one failure convince them they are not good enough. They react immediately, speak from anger, make decisions out of frustration, and later regret the consequences. But the person who has cracked the code understands that emotions make terrible leaders. Feelings should be acknowledged, but they should never control your direction. Emotional maturity means learning to pause before reacting, to think before speaking, and to choose wisdom over impulse. The stronger your emotions become, the calmer your decisions should be. Consistency is another principle that most people underestimate because it looks ordinary. Everyone loves dramatic success stories, but very few admire repetitive effort. Yet consistency is what turns average talent into extraordinary achievement. Imagine improving only 1% every single day. At first, the progress feels almost invisible. You might even question whether anything is changing, but weeks become months, months become years, and those tiny improvements create a completely different person. Success is rarely built through one extraordinary moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary moments repeated with extraordinary commitment. Purpose gives meaning to every sacrifice. Without purpose, discipline feels like punishment. Without purpose, consistency feels exhausting. Without purpose, setbacks feel meaningless. But when you know why you are moving forward, every challenge becomes easier to endure. Purpose reminds you that today's discomfort is preparing you for tomorrow's opportunity. It keeps your eyes fixed on the destination instead of the temporary obstacles standing in your way. A person with purpose cannot be easily distracted because they understand that every unnecessary distraction steals time from something that truly matters. The world often teaches people to chase recognition before developing character. Social media encourages instant validation. Society celebrates appearances more than substance. People become obsessed with looking successful instead of becoming successful. But appearances fade quickly when there is no foundation beneath them. Character, however, continues producing results long after attention disappears. Integrity, patience, humility, resilience, and self-control may not attract instant applause, but they build a life that remains strong even during difficult seasons. That is why the real code always begins on the inside before it becomes visible on the outside. There will always be people searching for easier roads. They will ask for shortcuts, secret formulas, and effortless strategies. They will complain that life is unfair because someone else achieved more. What they fail to understand is that every lasting achievement demands a price. The price may be patience, it may be sacrifice, it may be discipline when nobody is watching, it may be choosing growth over comfort again and again. Every successful person has paid that price in one form or another. There are no exceptions. When you finally understand this truth, your perspective changes forever. You stop comparing your journey with other people's timelines because you realize everyone is building a different foundation. You stop looking for instant results because you understand lasting success grows slowly. You stop depending on luck because you recognize that preparation creates opportunities. Instead of asking, how can I get there faster, you begin asking, who must I become to handle what I desire? That single question changes everything because it shifts your focus from chasing rewards to building the character capable of sustaining them. This is the moment everything begins to make sense. You realize the code was never hidden behind wealth, influence, connections, or extraordinary talent. It was hidden inside ordinary habits practiced with extraordinary faithfulness. It was hidden inside choosing discipline over excuses, emotional control over emotional chaos, consistency over inconsistency, and purpose over distraction. Once you understand that, you stop wasting energy searching for shortcuts because you discover something far more valuable. The real code has been available to everyone from the very beginning. The difference is that only a few people are willing to live by it every single day, and those are the people who eventually create lives that others call extraordinary. Silent transformation is one of the greatest forces a human being can ever experience because it changes everything without asking anyone for permission. Most people believe that growth must be announced. They think every new goal should be shared, every achievement should be displayed, and every plan should be explained to the world. They mistake visibility for progress, They believe that if people are not talking about their journey, then nothing important is happening. But life teaches a completely different lesson. The most powerful transformations happen in silence. They happen in the moments when nobody is watching, when there is no audience to applaud your effort, and when the only person who knows how hard you are fighting is you. That is where real change begins. Long before the world sees your success, your character has already been transformed behind closed doors. Nature has always understood this principle. A seed disappears beneath the ground before it ever becomes a tree. For weeks and months, nothing seems to happen above the surface. Anyone looking from the outside might assume the seed has failed or died. But underneath the soil, something extraordinary is taking place. Roots are stretching deeper. Strength is being developed where nobody can see it. The tree is preparing for storms before it ever reaches toward the sky. Your personal growth follows the same pattern. Before your confidence becomes visible, your mind must become stronger. Before your success becomes public, your discipline must become private. Before people admire your results, you must learn to win battles that nobody else will ever witness. One of the greatest mistakes people make is seeking approval before they have built themselves. They constantly look around to see whether others believe in them. They depend on compliments to stay motivated, and criticism quickly destroys their confidence. Every opinion becomes a mirror that determines how they feel about themselves. But silent transformation teaches a different way of living. It teaches you to become your own source of encouragement. Instead of asking whether others believe in you, you begin asking whether you are honoring your own potential. Instead of chasing applause, you chase improvement. That shift changes your entire life because your confidence is no longer controlled by public opinion. It grows from private victories that no one can take away. There comes a point where you realize explaining yourself to everyone is one of the greatest wastes of energy. Not everyone deserves an explanation, and not everyone will understand your journey, even if you give one. Some people have already decided who you are based on an old version of your life. They continue speaking to the person you used to be while you have already become someone completely different. If you spend all your time defending yourself, you leave very little time to develop yourself. The strongest response is often silence, followed by consistent action. Results have a language that arguments can never match. Success answers questions that words never could. When you begin transforming in silence, something remarkable happens inside your mind. You stop feeling the need to compete with everyone around you. Comparison loses its power because your focus is no longer on someone else's journey. You become fully invested in becoming better than the person you were yesterday. Every day becomes an opportunity to grow instead of a competition to impress. That mindset brings peace because you are no longer distracted by what others have achieved. You understand that every person is running a different race, carrying different responsibilities, and overcoming different challenges. Your responsibility is not to outshine everyone else. It is to maximize the gifts and opportunities that have been placed in your own hands. Silence also protects your vision. Every dream begins as something fragile. Like a young plant, it needs time to develop before facing strong winds. If you expose every goal to the opinions of people who lack faith, your confidence can easily be shaken. Some individuals criticize because they cannot imagine success beyond their own limitations. Others discourage you because your growth reminds them of the risks they never took. Their words become distractions that slowly weaken your determination. But when you work quietly, your vision has room to mature without unnecessary interference. By the time people notice what you are building, it is already too strong to be destroyed by doubt. Another beautiful truth about silent transformation is that it teaches patience. Modern society celebrates instant results. Everyone wants immediate recognition, immediate wealth, immediate influence, and immediate success. But lasting greatness has never been built in a hurry. It develops one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined day after another. Patience allows your character to grow at the same pace as your opportunities. If success arrives before your character is ready, success often becomes a burden instead of a blessing. Silent growth ensures that when opportunities finally arrive, you possess the wisdom, humility, and emotional strength required to handle them responsibly. That is why silent transformation is so powerful. It requires no applause, no approval, and no constant recognition. It grows in the hidden places where character is formed and purpose is strengthened. It teaches you that the loudest victories are often born from the quietest seasons. By the time the world finally notices your success, the greatest miracle has already happened, not around you, but within you. The person who once depended on attention has become someone who depends on principles, and that kind of transformation can never be taken away. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the greatest battle was never against difficult people, unfair circumstances, or unexpected setbacks. The real battle has always been within. It is the battle between fear and courage, between impulse and wisdom, between temporary emotions and lasting principles. The day you learn to master yourself is the day your entire life begins to change. This is the code that very few people understand. The world teaches you how to influence others, but it rarely teaches you how to govern your own mind. Yet the person who learns self-mastery possesses a power that no one can easily take away. Once you control your emotions, your reactions, and your attention, the games people once played with you lose their power. You are no longer controlled by the outside world because you have become the leader of your inner world. Most people live reactively instead of intentionally. Their mood depends on what someone said to them that morning. Their confidence rises when people praise them and falls when people criticize them. A single negative comment can ruin an entire day. A disagreement can destroy their peace. An unexpected setback can convince them that they are failing. Without realizing it, they have handed the steering wheel of their lives to everyone around them. Whoever controls their emotions controls their decisions. Whoever controls their reactions controls their future. This is why so many intelligent people remain trapped. It is not because they lack talent. It is because they have never learned to master themselves. Self-mastery begins with a simple but life-changing realization. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you can always control how you respond. Life will never promise perfect circumstances. There will always be people who misunderstand you, criticize you, betray your trust, or underestimate your potential. There will always be disappointments that arrive without warning and challenges that test your patience. Trying to control every situation is impossible. Learning to control yourself is always possible. That is where true freedom begins. The moment you stop allowing external events to dictate your internal peace, you become stronger than most people will ever understand. One of the greatest signs of self-mastery is emotional control. This does not mean pretending you never feel anger, sadness, disappointment, or frustration. It means refusing to let those emotions make your decisions. Every emotion carries information, but not every emotion deserves authority. Anger may tell you that something feels unfair, but it should not decide your words. Fear may warn you about risk, but it should not prevent you from pursuing purpose. Disappointment may remind you that expectations were not met, but it should not convince you to give up. Mature people feel deeply, but they choose wisely. They pause before reacting because they understand that one uncontrolled moment can create consequences that last for years. There is incredible strength in learning the power of the pause. Before speaking, you think. Before reacting, you breathe. Before making a major decision, you reflect instead of rushing. Many of life's greatest regrets are created in moments when emotions move faster than wisdom. A harsh sentence spoken in anger can damage a relationship. An impulsive decision made in frustration can destroy years of progress. A reaction driven by pride can close doors that humility would have kept open. Self-mastery teaches you that patience is not weakness. It is wisdom under control. The strongest person in the room is often the one who remains calm while everyone else loses control. Attention is another area where self-mastery changes everything. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. Many people spend their lives feeding problems instead of feeding solutions. They replay insults in their minds for weeks. They become obsessed with what others think about them. They constantly compare themselves with people whose journeys are completely different from their own. Without realizing it, they are investing their most valuable resource, attention, into things that produce no growth. The person who has mastered themselves chooses differently. They direct their attention toward learning, improving, creating, serving, and becoming better every single day. They understand that focus is a form of power. When you protect your attention, you protect your future. As you grow in self-mastery, something remarkable begins to happen. People who once knew exactly how to provoke you suddenly become confused. They use the same words that once upset you, but nothing happens. They expect the same emotional reaction they always received, but instead they are met with calmness and confidence. They become frustrated because the version of you they learned to manipulate no longer exists. You have changed the operating system of your mind. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of defending yourself endlessly, you let your actions speak. Instead of seeking revenge, you choose progress. This is when people realize they have lost their influence over you. Self-mastery also transforms the way you handle success. Many people believe power changes a person, but in reality, power reveals a person. If someone lacks humility before success, success often magnifies their pride. If someone lacks integrity before influence, influence often magnifies their weaknesses. But when self-mastery becomes your foundation, success no longer controls you. Recognition does not make you arrogant. Wealth does not make you careless. Praise does not distract you from your purpose. You remain grounded because your identity was never built upon external rewards. It was built upon internal principles. Failure also looks different through the eyes of someone who has mastered themselves. Instead of seeing failure as proof of inadequacy, they see it as feedback for improvement. They do not waste energy blaming circumstances or attacking other people. They ask better questions. What can I learn? How can I improve? What lesson is hidden inside this experience? That attitude turns setbacks into classrooms instead of prisons. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to strengthen character, sharpen wisdom, and increase resilience. The greatest reward of self-mastery is peace, not the temporary peace that depends on perfect circumstances, but the lasting peace that remains steady even when life becomes difficult. It is the peace of knowing your emotions no longer control your choices. It is the confidence of knowing your values remain stronger than your temptations. It is the freedom of realizing that no criticism can define you and no compliment can distract you. Your worth is no longer determined by public opinion because it is anchored in character. Life has a way of teaching lessons that comfort never could. During seasons of success, it is easy to become distracted, overconfident, or careless. Everything seems to flow naturally, and there is little reason to question your habits or strengthen your character. But challenges have a unique ability to expose weaknesses that would otherwise remain hidden. They reveal where your patience is lacking, where your discipline needs improvement, and where your faith in yourself is still fragile. A setback is not simply an obstacle placed in your path. It is often a mirror showing you the areas where growth is still required. The sooner you stop seeing difficulties as enemies and begin seeing them as instructors, the sooner your life begins to change. Rejection is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. Most people fear it because they assume rejection defines their value. They believe that if someone says no, they are somehow less capable or less worthy. But rejection often has very little to do with your worth. Sometimes it is protection from an opportunity that would have taken you away from your purpose. Sometimes it is preparation for something greater that you cannot yet see. Many successful people can look back and identify moments when doors closed unexpectedly, only to realize years later that those closed doors redirected them towards something far better. Had everything gone according to their original plan, they would never have discovered their true potential. What once felt like disappointment eventually became one of the greatest blessings of their lives. Betrayal is another painful experience that has the power to transform you if you allow it. There is no denying the pain that comes from trusting someone who later breaks that trust. It can leave you questioning your judgment, your relationships, and even your own heart. But betrayal also reveals something invaluable. It teaches discernment. It teaches you to recognize character instead of empty promises. It reminds you that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your life. Most importantly, it teaches you to find your security within yourself rather than placing it entirely in the hands of others. The people who hurt you may have intended to weaken you, but if you choose wisdom instead of bitterness, they unknowingly become part of the education that strengthens your future. Failure itself is often misunderstood. Society treats failure as something shameful, something to avoid at all costs. Yet every meaningful achievement is built upon countless attempts that did not work. Every inventor, every entrepreneur, every leader, every athlete, and every visionary has faced moments when their efforts fell short. The difference is that they refused to let failure become their identity. Instead, they treated it as information. Every mistake taught them something new. Every unsuccessful attempt removed another wrong approach. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they asked, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That single question changes everything because it transforms pain into progress. Delays can be just as frustrating as failure. You work hard, stay committed, and remain faithful to your goals, yet the results seem slow to arrive. It becomes tempting to believe that your efforts are being wasted, but growth rarely happens on your preferred schedule. A farmer understands this better than most people. After planting seeds, the farmer does not dig them up every few days to check if they are growing. He continues watering, protecting, and trusting the process. He understands that every harvest has its season. In the same way, your life requires patience. Character, wisdom, resilience, and lasting success cannot be rushed. Delays often prepare you to handle the very blessings you are praying for. If success arrives before your character is ready, it may become a burden rather than a gift. Every difficult season also develops resilience, and resilience is one of the greatest advantages anyone can possess. A person who has never faced hardship often struggles when life becomes unpredictable. But someone who has survived disappointment, overcome rejection, and endured difficult seasons carries a quiet confidence that cannot be manufactured. They know what it feels like to start again. They know what it means to keep moving forward when motivation disappears. They understand that emotions are temporary, but commitment must remain constant. This resilience becomes a foundation that allows them to face future challenges with courage rather than fear. One of the greatest transformations happens when you stop asking why something happened and start asking how it can make you stronger. That shift in perspective gives you back your power. Victims remain trapped because they focus entirely on what was taken from them. Victors move forward because they focus on what can still be built. They refuse to let painful experiences define the rest of their lives. Instead, they use every lesson as another brick in the foundation of their future. This mindset does not ignore pain. It acknowledges it, learns from it, and then refuses to remain imprisoned by it. As your perspective changes, you begin to notice something remarkable. The very experiences that once made you cry are now the experiences that made you wiser. The rejection that once broke your confidence taught you independence. The betrayal that once shattered your trust taught you discernment. The failures that once embarrassed you taught you perseverance. The delays that once frustrated you taught you patience. None of those experiences were pleasant while you were living through them, but each one added something valuable to your character. Without them, you would not possess the strength you have today. People often admire confidence without understanding where it comes from. They assume confident people have always lived easy lives. In reality, genuine confidence is usually forged through adversity. It is born when you survive situations you thought would destroy you. It grows when you continue moving forward despite uncertainty. It strengthens every time you refuse to quit after disappointment. Confidence built on comfort disappears during hardship. Confidence built through overcoming setbacks becomes almost unshakable because it has already been tested. Eventually, those who once doubted you begin to notice something different. They expected your failures to defeat you, but instead those failures refined you. They believed rejection would discourage you, yet it redirected you. They assumed betrayal would leave you broken, but it made you wiser. They thought delays would make you quit, but they deepened your patience and strengthened your resolve. What they intended to become your greatest weakness became the very reason for your greatest growth. Every setback became another step toward the person you are meant to become. That is the hidden power of adversity. It does not automatically make people stronger, but it gives every person the opportunity to become stronger. The choice belongs to you. You can allow pain to make you bitter, or you can allow it to make you better. You can let rejection convince you to stop, or you can let it redirect you towards something greater. You can let failure become your identity, or you can let it become your education. Every setback carries an unseen advantage waiting to be discovered. Those who learn to uncover that advantage are the ones who eventually rise higher, stand stronger, and walk through life with a wisdom that no easy path could ever provide. There is a reason so many people begin their journey with excitement, but only a few reach the destination they once dreamed about. It is not because they lacked intelligence. It is not because they were less talented. It is not even because they faced greater obstacles than everyone else. The real difference is much simpler. Most people depend on motivation, while a small number learn to depend on discipline. Motivation can ignite a dream, but discipline keeps that dream alive when the excitement disappears. If you truly want lasting success, you must understand one powerful truth. Discipline unlocks every door that talent alone cannot open. Motivation feels wonderful because it creates emotional energy. After hearing an inspiring message, reading a great book, or experiencing a breakthrough moment, you suddenly feel. You make plans, set goals, and promise yourself that this time everything will be different. In those moments, discipline seems unnecessary because your emotions are carrying you forward. But emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like the waves of the ocean. Some mornings you wake up inspired, while other mornings you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your actions depend entirely on how you feel, your progress will always be inconsistent. That is why motivation alone can never build a remarkable life. It starts the journey, but it cannot finish it. Discipline works differently. Discipline does not ask whether you feel ready. It simply reminds you of the commitment you already made. It teaches you to keep moving even when enthusiasm has disappeared. It tells you to continue practicing when nobody is watching, to keep learning when results seem invisible, and to remain faithful to your purpose even during difficult seasons. Discipline understands something that emotions often forget. Every small action repeated consistently becomes part of your future. The habits you practice today quietly shape the person you will become tomorrow. Think about the people who achieve greatness in any area of life, whether they are athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, leaders, or skilled craftsmen. They all share one common characteristic. They continue working long after the excitement has faded. They train on days when they feel strong and on days when they feel weak. They prepare when others are resting. They improve when no audience is applauding. The world celebrates their extraordinary achievements, but those achievements were built through thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. Success is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. It is almost always the reward for disciplined actions repeated over time. One of the greatest misconceptions in life is believing that talent guarantees success. Talent is valuable, but talent without discipline eventually becomes wasted potential. There are countless gifted people who never reach their full potential because they never develop the habits required to support their abilities. At the same time, there are ordinary people who achieve extraordinary results because they consistently show up, continue learning, and refuse to quit. Discipline often outperforms natural talent because disciplined people continue improving, while talented people sometimes rely too heavily on their gifts. Over time, consistent effort closes the gap between average ability and exceptional performance. Discipline also protects you from one of life's greatest enemies, distraction. Every day the world competes for your attention. Endless entertainment, unnecessary arguments, meaningless comparisons, and temporary pleasures constantly pull you away from what truly matters. Without discipline, it becomes easy to lose focus. Days turn into weeks, weeks become months, and before you realize it, years have passed without meaningful progress. Discipline acts like a compass. It reminds you where you are going whenever distractions try to lead you somewhere else. It teaches you to say no to what feels good today so you can say yes to what truly matters tomorrow.